the official team lineup.
Well, taking a look at the lineup here, we're going to kick it off with Falcon Esports Trex.
So we got Justin, Yellow Flash in the EXP, Zipex playing the gold lane, Ken in the jungle, and Naomi definitely, I mean, look at them. I love the fierceness.
Just
I love how
a
excited they are.
devastating roamer, right? And we saw the Franco that he pulled out here. But, Eterna, you know this team very well. Onic Esports, let's take a look at the lineup.
Yeah, we have Sans, we have Boots, we have CW, Kyrie, and Keyboy. And honestly, both of these teams need no introduction.
Not something so squishy in the jungle, onto something that can be a bit bulkier, like the Fredrin, like something like that. But here we go.
Well, we're about to find out as we jump into the draft for game number 1 here. Already bans coming out. That's going to be Onic Esports on the blue side, Falcon Esports on the red. Faramis Valentina Joy taken out here by Onic Esports. And meanwhile, on the other side, some respect bands coming out. The Glue, the 1-1, and the Fanny. So, already, first pick up here for Onic Esports. Trex, what are you thinking they're looking to prioritize
I mean, with the 1-1 already being banned out, maybe locking the gold lane right away. It doesn't seem like Falcon wants to go too heavily into Kyrie. And again, with the jungle being so flexible, they might want to save that towards the end. So maybe lock in the gold lane, and it does look like they're going to bring in the Kaja, though, was left open at turn.
Okay, so the Kaja is going to be the first pick here for Onic Esports. And knowing them, we're not really sure where this Kaja is going to be placed. It could be in the jungle, it could be a roamer, and it could even be a mid laner up until this point for them. That's how flexible they are. Really good flex choice, but right now Falcon, they are going to have to respond to this. The one thing that we noticed from the group stage is the pattern of bans and picks. The Eve, the carry, all these are viable choices, but we can see here Falcon, they're going to prioritize the Eve up first with the carry.
Good
I
call.
mean, these are two heroes that have been very dominant. I mean, 69% win rate on that Eve, right? Solid just performance so far. And it's always something that you have to worry about, right? Real world manipulation, objective gaming is, I feel like, just the way things work, right? You really want to have that advantage when it comes to those early turtles, transitioning into the lords, fighting around, sometimes even defending your base. We've seen total flip-flops from teams with an Eve here. And there you go, across the board, it's Onic Esports locking in the Hayabusa, which we can just go ahead and say that's going to the hands of Kyrie here.
Most definitely, hopefully. I mean, I feel like it's a most definitely. And the moment I heard that Hayabusa voice coming in, I'm like, oh, there it is. We know Kyrie's going to get aggressive. We know they're jumping right into it. But now it does look like that Kaja most likely going to be a roam because they are picking up the Lilia for the mid lane. I like it. I like that mid composition there. And if Kyrie can kind of maybe do his own thing here and there, it's going to be a lot of pressure in that mid phase.
Yeah, this is Sans' Lilia, okay? He used this all throughout MPL Season 10, and that's his comfort. So it's finally great to see these players start to show their cards, and we'll see what happens. Because remember, Lilia also has a fast clear.
Yeah.
So in terms of that early rotation, it does seem maybe Lilia has a bit of an upper hand because she isn't reliant on that level 4 like the Eve is. Now, following that pick, we do see the Lapu here for the side of Falcon Esports. Not really sure exactly what this Lapu is for because usually when we see the Lapu, we see a really strong backline.
You know what's scary? When I'm looking here already at the first phase from Onic Esports, they're able to bait out a lot of the ultimates already from Falcon Esports. I mean, you're talking the Black Shoes, you've got Shadow Kill, and then of course you have Kaja, right? Your pick potential is massive so far, and if they really want to, they can kind of whittle down, at least what we see from Falcon Esports in this first phase, whittle them down, or at least, the very least, get the real-world manipulation out, and then find a team fight you're looking for. So I feel like Falcon Esports definitely needs to work around that, right? They need to also lock something in solid here for Ken in the jungle, and hopefully be that saving grace as the game goes on. But even looking at that player head-to-head, as I just mentioned, it's Ken and Kyrie here. Look at that. Both of them having their 100% win rate on these signature heroes. Very different playstyles, at least in terms of the heroes, right? Martiz versus the Ling, but still, you got to say it's going to be the work. I feel like the work is going to be cut out here for Ken specifically. But if it's anyone to do it, Ken can definitely do this, Trex.
Most definitely. Now we've gone into the second ban phase. The Atlas does get picked off from the side of Onic and Falcon. aim straight into those mages, taking out the Lunox and the Harith. Also kind of flexible picks, maybe guessing they're going to put those into the gold lane possibly. So they want to take that out of the way. Now, still one more ban. Do they focus into the tank? Because as we stated, that's going to be the problem. That could be the thing that really gives Kairi trouble here. So my guess is maybe the Franco. They haven't banned out the Franco yet.
Because of this assassin pick, I wouldn't want to go against someone like the Hilda, or the Masha in that roaming position, because that's how someone like the Hayabusa can be pressured in that gold lane. But they're going to go for the respect ban against Naomi. The Natalia is actually going to be picked out first. But what I wanted to mention before we even got to this was the fact that Falcon banned out Harith and Lunox. I find this interesting and ironic because these two heroes are actually Zipex's heroes. So I'm not really sure if CW would pick that up in the gold lane, but surely maybe they know something we don't know, perhaps in scrims, as now we're entering the second phase of the picks where Falcon has the first opportunity to secure.
This is, I mean, we did see a quote there from Coach Dale as well, and just kind of comparing the cultures, but also even the play styles of these two teams. And that's why when we saw that team head-to-head, that's so apparent, right? They love these fights. They love also to play around their junglers if they can. But the lock-in is going to be the Fredrin here. An interesting fact, right? Fredrin is locked in. I think he's been picked almost, every single game or something like that. But the win rate...
35.29%.
Not good.
Not good.
That's not good.
Red.
It's group stage. It's group stage.
It's group stage. You're right.
I mean... Fredrin, right? We can assume that is going... You want to call him Freddy? Call him Freddy. He's probably going in the jungle, right? And that's the thing. A lot of people are like, man, why do teams love this Fredrin so much, Trex?
Well, I think because technically it's supposed to work, right? Just like a lot of the tank junglers, the bulky junglers, it's supposed to work. And I think as we move through the knockout stage, it still can. I think it can work here because they needed Peel for Zipex. They need a heavy front line. And now, you mentioned earlier, all focusing on to this real manipulation, but the real problem is going to be Zipex, right? We know once that carry gets locked in, once those first 2 or 3 items come in, then they're also going to be able to start locking in tanky items. The Hayabusa isn't as much of a threat anymore, and now Falcon is online. So the real question is, can they put enough pressure onto Kairi here with this lineup in time? I mean, put enough pressure to buy them enough time to get carry online.
I'm so excited because I want to answer your question too. And it all depends on this last pick that Falcon is going to be bringing to the table for Naomi. And the answer, it's going to be the Kufra. So makes sense. Kufra is going to have that CC, enough CC to be able to lock down the Hayabusa whenever he goes in. It all comes back down to the timing and how both of these teams are going to go about when they go for a 5v5 team fight.
You know, the thing about Falcon Esports lineup is there's so much CC, like you mentioned, Eterna. But if for some reason Zipex cannot shine on the carry, right, which it is a tough situation to get to that point, but still, if you don't have that or even that Eve available, the damage is shut down, you're left with just a CC train at that point, right? You're going to be taunting, you're going to be setting things up, but if the damage isn't there and you're being outpaced by Onic Esports, that's going to be troubling, especially with pick-off potential on demand with having a Kaja.
And not only that, but looking at the gold lane, right, CW, I feel like on this Beatrix may have the upper hand in the early game. A bit more range, a bit more variables coming in with the Beatrix. So many different options. Harry's going to have to play it a little bit safe, and I'm wondering if Falcon are going to kind of play the babysitter.
Well, here we go. Cheer for your team. It's Falcon Esports versus Onic Esports to kick off day number 1 here for the knockout stages.
Okay, this is interesting, right? Because technically, when we're looking at both of the drafts, they can counter one another. But look at this. Already you can see Keyboy trying to pressure the jungle, trying to pressure Ken from those rotations. And like I mentioned earlier, this matchup between Yves and Lilia is going to favor Sans for a bit, especially in that early game, because he isn't reliant on that level 4. Whereas Justin, he needs to wait a little bit more to get those items, to get that damage, and also to get that real-world manipulation.
I think one of the biggest things here, right, is if you're Falcon Esports, you don't allow Kairi to get an early kill. I mean, there's already so much poke back and forth. Justin, even having to walk back to the tier 2, isn't even sure if he wants to recall there just yet. But still, don't give Kairi that early kill to not allow Onic Esports to snowball here if you're Falcon Esports.
But there's a big problem, right? The whole thing for Falcon was to put pressure onto Kairi, and Onic is answering back by putting pressure of their own, already going into Falcon's jungle, not letting Naomi even step out into Onic's jungle.
There's a lot of comparison, right? Like, in this current meta, what is more important? And I do believe that the mid lane is going to be the #1 issue when it comes down to those rotations, right? Because even if you lose the gold lane matchup, even if you lose the EXP lane, if you are able to clear faster and if you are able to rotate faster, that can alleviate any problems in terms of that draft. And so far, this is what we see Falcon lacking in the drafting.
Well, right now, I mean, as everybody gets closer to that level 4 here, the first hurdle of the game is going to be up. You can already see Ken getting in position here. The rest of the team, though, there's quite a few Onic Esports members as they might contest this one.
Yeah, and in comes the Black Dragon Boots trying to get a back line, push on, the Petrify locks on, Kairi takes the turtle. Nice suppression. 10 will go down. Justin brings out the world manipulation. In comes the bravest fighter. A lot of damage onto Sans. Sans will bite the bullet. And that is a 1-for-1 trade. But the side of Onic does take the turtle.
All right, so Onic is going to be able to have a little bit of an advantage in that sense. And Falcon, they need to remember how and what are the highlights of their draft, right? Wait until these members can actually be a factor and not contest too early, honestly. I think they should have let that go.
Yeah, I mean, I also like how both XP laners got those kills here. You're already going to see it, right? This is what you can expect from Kairi, right? He is going to just be all in your space in your jungle, whoever is going to be playing against them, and that's something you have to play around here. So still, Falcon Esports, Yellow Flash grabbing that early kill here. We've seen just how strong a Lapu Lapu can even be. Sometimes he has to go 1 versus 2. It should work out, but still, pressure here on Ken's purple.
Oh, Sans is caught in. In comes Kairi, though. Does a nice amount of damage on Naomi. Sans will go down. Ken picks up the kill. CW comes in with an Nero's Passion. Ken's going to take a bit of damage, but Onic wants to back off here. They've lost 1 member, but Zipex is here to try to claim more. CW and Keyboy able to get away from that one. Turtle up in about 40 seconds, but it's still just 1-2.
1-0 trade so far, and it's still going to rely on Falcon to get that better advantage. What do you guys particularly think about the Yuzong and the Lapu Lapu in the XP lane?
Well, I mean, both serve a purpose, right? What we're seeing a lot with this meta is Yuzong locked in for that back. They just go straight to the back line. The job here is to catch Zipex, right? I mean, he's got a flicker, but as soon as that's expended, you should be able to hit him with the Petrify. You have the Black Dragon form. You can cause chaos on the back. Meanwhile, you're still baiting everything out and relying on Keyboy to find that Divine Judgment lockdown. But that's the thing. Falcon Esports, they've got, what, 3 tanks pretty much at this point. Lapu Lapu, fighter, tank. You know, he can actually be that peel. He can be that front line for them. But still, the fight
a lot
for
of
the
damage.
turtle.
Naomi goes very, very low. Kairi gets hit by the bouncing ball, though. Ken may go down. Boots wants to come clean up. Hits the Petrify. Ken goes down. Next could be Justin. Boots maybe a little bit too deep. Zipex, though, hits the speedy light wheel, trying to come in. Yellow Flash onto Boots. Boots will be next. It's a 1-for-1 currently, but the fight keeps on going. Yellow Flash gets a stun onto Keyboy. Sans trying to find Yellow Flash, but he's just a little bit too tanky. Sans. Looks like Yellow Flash is going to back off overall. Onic lose another member here, but still they keep the gold lead.
So, as we were just talking about all of that, right? I'm going to refer back to the graphic we saw earlier. These two teams love to team fight. Every single objective that comes up, they're going to force it, right? And that time you actually saw perfectly. Kairi went in, used the shadow kill, and then the cleanup was there. And Justin, by the way, has just now reached a total of 200 assists for his professional Mlbb career. Jeez. This guy is massive.
He's reliable.
Yeah.
That's the main pillar of Falcon, the one who stays reliable, stays consistent, trying to deal damage from that back line, and also something that all the other members from that team can fall onto when things get rough. I mean, right now, Ken isn't having the best time, right? With a 1-2-0 KDA, his main highlight of the career here in the group stage is the fact that he was able to get the objectives. But right now, Onic Esports, they've been the one in the upper hand in terms of that objective. And so we see Yellow Flash being the main carry here up until this 5th minute. And this Lapu Lapu is going to start snowballing. He has the CC, he has the damage. Onic Esports, they need to be very aware of his positioning when they go for a 5v5 team fight, or they might actually fall short.
Well, this is the great thing for Falcon, right? ZipX has mainly been able to just farm up. And yes, Justin's here kind of helping him, but might be
Justin
looking
does
for
bring
Sands.
out the real manipulation. Keyboy's going to try to come in. Possible dive here. Don't think we're going to see too much, but with the turtle up in 19 seconds, this could be a nice advantage for Onic. They kind of claim the pit. You've lost that utility from Justin there in the real manipulation. So Onic, once again, still kind of feels like they're controlling the game here, controlling the tempo here, holding the gold lead and moving forward.
Well, that's the thing, right? They're looking for a clean sweep on the Turtles as the third one of the game has now spawned. And as you mentioned, Trex, Onic getting in position here, but once again, Falcon Esports wants to contest this one.
Ooh, Naomi comes in, nice Tyrant's Rage. Keyboy takes a lot of damage, trying to get away. Ken wants to find him, but Keyboy is able to escape. Turtle still on the field, Naomi very low along with Justin. And Kyrie picks it up. That's a double kill. In comes the Black Dragon. It's a show, boys. Boots now trying to get away, though. Suppression does land onto Yellow Flash. Yellow Flash wants to move in. CW is here doing a nice amount of damage. They're forced to back off. Falcon will not claim this turtle.
Oh, see, that's the thing. Every time they go for a 5v5, Falcon always falls short in this team fight. It was great, though, with the way that they did it, right? They were able to eliminate Kyrie first, prevent that damage from penetrating even worse. And that's the thing, because when Kyrie gets left open, he goes in for a double kill, and even a triple kill. But oh my god, Falcon, they get the turtle.
That was so close. I thought the snipe was definitely going to hit it, but Justin is now here. Sans very, very low. Naomi trying to find him. Sans able to get away with just a sliver of health. This is a game, guys. This is definitely a great first game of the knockout stage.
I feel like so many times throughout the groups we saw, I think it had to be Sanji that would flicker in, called the athletic flicker, get the one hit off. But let's take a look here at the emblems. Anything sticking out specifically that's giving an advantage here for one of the teams, Eterna?
Honestly, at this point, they're all standard emblems, but the thing is, it kind of shows and reflects about the gameplay that they want to go for, right? We can see that Hayabusa Kyrie, he opted for the Assassin emblem, the high and dry, who is going to have an advantage in those 1v1 situations. So we know Kyrie, he wants to go for the pickoffs, he wants to go for the kills, whereas someone like Ken with the Demon Slayer emblem, he's looking more on the objectives. And we see that kind of reflected, even though it has been kind of taken away from Falcon when we see here in the 8th minute.
Well, right now, Falcon Esports coming up with a plan of their own. And remember, this is going to be the charge up. There's only 2 members here for Onic Esports, but no one's going to commit just yet. Still, this is the crucial, right? Whatever team can find a pick-off first, it'll allow you to get that space you need. You still have 40 seconds till that Lord is up here. But still, both teams also holding on to quite a bit of map control, right? The tier 1s in the mid lane actually are still up. So if one team or the other wants to focus on getting that objective down, gives them that advantage in space. But that's why we see them pressing for any pick they can find here.
And I think both teams have been so good at engaging, but also disengaging. I mean, it seems like there's been a lot of fights, but only 8 deaths total in a matter of 9 minutes. Only 1 tower gone. So they've both been so well at just kind of dragging out these fights and getting away in those crucial situations. The thing is ZipX and CW, both 0 kills, both able to farm, able to get their gold, able to try to be important to their team. So the question is, in the next minute or 2, maybe upcoming on this next Lord, which gold laner is really going to pop off?
The thing is, ZipX, even though that Falcon in general, they're behind in 2,000K, ZipX isn't falling too far behind because at some point they were both level 10. CW obviously has a bit of an edge, but that also shows that Falcon is really good at giving the gold to the important members, right? That gold allocation is going to make the difference. And you can see here, Justin already has the Ice Queen wand. He also already has the Glowing Wand. So expect that utility starting to come through. The damage, the dot, as both of these teams, they're going to start setting up a Keyboy.
Naomi will get pushed back. It's a bloodbath. Yellow Flash taking a lot of damage, trying to go in, move on to CW. Keyboy has gone down. Yellow Flash cannot connect. CW picks it up. This is bad for Yellow Flash. This could be bad for Falcon. Kyrie finds Naomi. Can it get a double? Make it a triple. That is a full team wipe for Onic. This is huge. Can they end it here?
The king of the sky, and he just dismantled Falcon Esports here. And they're going to march into base. This might not be a final push. There's still pretty short death timers, but what a massive play from Onic Esports.
That was huge. A wipe out. And there you go. The king of the sky himself, Kairi, getting that triple kill. Unfortunately, Sans got that double kill, but this is what happens when Onic Esports get the comfortable heroes and the way that they weren't pressured from that early game. Luckily enough, though, Falcon was still able to secure the Lord, so it still buys them enough time to not end the game, and they still have those 3 inhibitor turrets remaining.
Here's the thing, though, right? I mean, given what we just saw, what is the answer, right? What is the answer for Falcon Esports? Best thing you can do is find a pick-off so you at least have a numbers advantage. We're going to be taking a look here at the instant replay presented by TikTok. Look at this. It's a bloodbath from minute 1 here. And already you can see, right? Perfect timing with the shadow kill, Kairi coming in. And Falcon Esports has they can't do anything but run for the hills. And the turret's not even enough.
This is definitely rough. I mean, Falcon does secure the Lord, though, so we know their head's still in the game during these big team fights. When all the ults are going off, when bombs are in the air, they're still able to hold it together and secure the objective. So that could be the answer. If they can drag it out long enough, if they continue to get Lords and not let Onic get the full push, maybe they could fight back here. They just need to get this, the pocket strat. They need to surround Zipex. No one can go too far forward. They can't be full dive mode. They kind of have to move as a unit, I feel.
I agree. I completely agree. That's something that I wanted to bring up. In that previous team fight, it didn't feel like they were synchronized. And the way that they've drafted, they need to be synchronized, right? You need these combo wombos to come through. You need the ult coming in from Naomi. You need the ult coming in from Yellow Flash, paired up with that slow and that penetration coming in from Justin. But the way that Onic Esports were able to do that team fight was they made it messy, right? They had someone in the front line, in the back line, but that's not what a Falcon needs right now. So they need to come back. How are we supposed to play this and not play into Onic Esports tempo?
Well, that's what I was saying in the draft, right? It's very finicky, right? Onic Esports can either throw Kairi at you, they can throw Sans at you, bait out the ultimates that they want. Boots can also go towards the back line here, and that's what he's doing against Zipex and Justin. But not only that, then you also have to worry about a Divine Judgment dragging Zipex along or Justin, right? Those are two things that's multiple things that's working in Onic Esports' favor. So Falcon Esports, like we said in the draft, if they lose one of those big damage dealers, whether that's the carry or the Eve, you're in trouble, right? How do you even fight that? Because still across from you, CW, 7 assists, but running that weapon mastery, has the damage and items that he needs on this Beatrix pick, and he's kind of just chilling, right? In a lot of these team fights, he's able to just do freely what he needs to do on this marksman pick because of all that, back and forth from the heroes from Onic Esports.
Oh, look at Kairi, though. He's going to take this tower, able to get away. Doesn't even have to be down there for objective. So already, every moment, Onic is ready to make a play, and it's going to really kind of pull Falcon apart because that's the goal. Pull them apart a bit. This is going to be the first time, though, that Falcon does not make the initial start on a neutral objective. Naomi tries to find Sans here. That is going to be a big wasted utility. This is big for Onic coming up on this Lord fight.
Yeah, they know they didn't have the setup, so they're retreating back. They're running for the hills, but T-Boy
gets a Divine Judgment on Ken. CW going to try to find it, but Kairi jumps in, picks it up. Falcon on the backboard once again. Onic should have a free Lord here.
Just like that. It was a matter of getting out some resources from Falcon Esports. The conceal plus the flicker, it failed, it didn't work. And now Onic Esports securing themselves another Lord here. Actually, the second Lord of the game. They'll be able to march in. And also, keep in mind, Kairi being able to take down that inhibitor turret in the mid lane, they should be able to get, if not one, maybe even all the inhibitor turrets as Falcon Esports has to deal with this. The clear potential, though, we're talking about 9K gold lead here for Onic Esports. That is massive in the itemization department.
Yeah, right now, Kairi, they're really optimizing and utilizing the fact that they have better mobility. So they have more control over these separate lanes. They're able to pressure Falcon from all these 3 lanes. And look at this, the Lord already marching here in the mid side.
Most definitely Lord is crashing down the mid, but it looks like Onyx may try to move towards top. Kairi jumps in, then jumps out, but Boots has a Black Dragon looking for Justin or Zipex. Can't quite find it, but the tower does go down. Real manipulation comes out. Naomi, Zipex, Justin all fall, and CW finds another one. Yellow Flash will go down along with the base, and Onyx take game 1.
Onic going to be able to get game number 1, but remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is a best of 5 series. We still have many more games ahead of us. So right now, we know that Falcon Esports, they're going to be able to go back to the drawing board, discuss, evaluate on what exactly happened to be able to go one-to-one with Onic Esports.
All your picks, let him be proactive for the team as well this time around. So here we go, jumping into the draft here for game number 2 upon us. It's Falcon Esports on the blue side with Onic Esports on the red here. First band's already coming out, Joy, Eve, and on the other side, Onic Esports taking out the Fairness.
And it's just already showing the Falcon maybe wants to switch things up here. They've banned out the Eve this time. It's not something that they're going to prioritize for first pick. You also don't want to surrender that over. Now, with them being first pick, they may not ban out the Kaja here. Maybe it's something they want to prio. This time, Onic is in the position of what do we want to give them first? What do we want to try to trade, give them first so that we get 2 in return? Are we going to see them kind of take out the regulars, or are they going to leave a lot open here?
I mean, the Natalia is the choice of ban here coming in from Onic Esports, so it might actually go the way that you mentioned. It is a respect ban for sure for Naomi, but not so expensive that you'd want to ban that out in the first phase. So things are getting a little fishy now, right? With the 1-1 being banned here by Falcon, what is Onic going to ban next, right? We still have the Kaja being left open. Valentina has not showed up so far. Glue as well.
Yeah.
I think, what would you prioritize?
I mean, given whatever this last ban here is for the first phase from Onic Esports, you have a lot of options like you mentioned. I feel like in a similar situation as Fredrin still being open here, you have like, do we take the Fredrin, do we take Glue? Glue's been pretty menacing in some games, but still it's almost like some teams are just picking it because it's open, right? Valentina is going to be the last ban here for the first phase. So a lot is open, like you guys mentioned. This is really comes down to what do we want to utilize first? What is that dynamic we want to go with here? And it's going to be the Fanny taken in. So I mean...
But Kaja's still open. Kaja's still open. That's a possible answer right there.
We've seen a lot of Kufra lately.
Kufra as well, but I definitely think Onyx secures this Kaja up front. Keyboy played it so well last time. And Justin runs into the wrong bush, it's over. Runs into the wrong lane during a fight in the wrong way, it is over. But Onyx still taking their time with this.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Franny, crazy pick. Really strong in the early game. Really good at rotating. High pressure kill in the hands of Ken. But at the same time, there's just so much counter towards this Fanny that Onic Esports, they do have time to try and work around it. We see the Glue being prioritized as well as the Kaja, like you mentioned, Trex. And now Falcon, they need to figure out a way, how can we protect the Fanny? Because if the Fanny goes in up front against the wrong person, like you also mentioned before, Kaja's just going to have a good time, and Fanny is going to be taken out.
I almost also sort of expected to possibly see a Hilda, right? We've seen how well Hilda just makes Fanny's lives, or actually majority of us has, but specifically even Fanny, just terrible. Yeah, I mean, when you see a Hilda running at you, what do, right? So at this point, you have the next 2 choices here for Falcon Esports. Eterna, what's the reaction here?
Nothing. I don't want to say it just yet.
I don't want
to say it just yet.
Just
yes.
click in your mind.
Yes, I'm not going to say it yet. But now we're going to see Falcon here with the next 2 picks following Fanny. It's going to be none other than the Atlas pick as well as the Harriet. So we mentioned, right, how hyped this matchup is. We're talking about crazy drafts, and this is exactly what we're seeing. With the Atlas being picked up, they have huge playmaking potential in that team fight, as well as the Harriet, who I assume is going in the gold lane, but actually it still can be flexed. The Harriet can still be placed in the mid lane, even though we haven't exactly seen that from Justin.
Now, I think Onic, honestly, they could probably pick up the Lilia here again. It's that and the Kaja, we already saw how well they're able to invade, put pressure onto Justin in the early phase, maybe try to stop him from getting that blue buff. Now, taking a look at the Atlas and the Harith, though, it's a lot on Ken here. It's a lot. Can he make those big plays? Yes, he is going to be up against the front line of this Kaja and this Glue. And now, actually, seeing the carry locked in, it could play. I mean, the Atlas could have even more advantage because, as you mentioned earlier, close-range marksman. Someone that doesn't have, he's not too far back. So if Ken can catch those 3 in one big Fatal Links, it could be huge.
I like that we have this quote from Oh My Venus here, pointing out that this match is something to look forward to. And I feel like a lot of people feel that way, right? It's a great stepping stone into the knockout stages, and it's a way to start on a high note here because really both these teams have such, I feel like obviously Onic Esports has a massive fan base here, but even Falcon Esports, again, being the dark horses back in MSC 2022, they won a lot of hearts there. They competed in multiple tournaments, even in online events. They won more hearts, and through M4 up to this point, they're still doing that, right? And it is a match, I guess, that you would just want to see two teams going head-to-head here, very similar play styles. And as we get this second phase of the draft, you can see focusing on Kyrie's options here. The Hayabusa is actually going to be taken out this time for Falcon Esports. They might even focus on one more assassin, possibly, because right now, even Ling's available, right? And it could end up being an assassin versus an assassin in the jungle fight.
Honestly, that would be great for entertainment value. But what I would be worried more for Falcon is if Onic Esports picked up someone like the Cho to go in the jungle. I think that would work really well against the Fanny in the jungle. But you're right, the Ling is going to be the choice of ban. We want to take it away from the Sky King himself because everyone knows that his best and iconic heroes are airborne, like Ling, like Fanny. But both of those have been taken away. The one thing that I wanted to talk about was the fact that they took the carry because when I see Onic go against something like the Fanny, usually they put something crazy in the gold lane. We've seen a Moskov work well in the gold lane. Against an Atlas, we've seen CW pick up the Mia to prevent that CC from coming through. So I'm not too sure about this carry pick, but we're going to see how they're going to round things up here in the second phase.
I mean, carry's definitely mean, right? Carry definitely packs a punch, definitely a hot topic. Marksman, wait a second, they're going to pick up the Kadita. I mean, I know the Kadita's been doing great, but it just seems like it's going to be a bit harder to lock on to Justin. Once again, it seems like Kaja is the only real answer to deal with that Fanny so far. They could still pick up the Cho jungle, could be very viable, but I definitely feel like they need something else to answer that because as long as they can play it well, as long as this Fanny can dance around clean enough, Kaja's not going to be enough.
Well, I mean, basically what you're going to see is both teams here interacting between the Flicker ultimates, right? I'm talking about flickering in with the Fatal Links and also flickering in with the Divine Judgment. Now, the thing for Atlas is you can get multiple targets here, but look at that. Oh. It's going to be, for the first time, Kagura coming out here. So that's actually going to be putting Harith in that gold lane, or I guess it could even be a Kagura, but most likely going to the mid lane with that Kagura, and then the XP lane is going Uranus.
You're right. Definitely, because when I look at Onic Esports, their composition, they want to work on pickoffs, whereas Falcon, they want to go more for those team fights. So what Onic is trying to say is, okay, we're never going to clump up as 5. We don't want to give you the possibility of getting that Fatal Links combo in with the Yin Yang overturn from the Kagura, and therefore you see these picks coming through, like the Glue, the Kaja, the Kadita. The question is now, is Kaja a jungler or not? Are they going to put the Kaja once again in the roamer position for Keyboy, or is it going to be a jungle? But okay, the Martis is going to be picked up. So Kyrie Martis.
I was going to say, he still has wings if it was the jungle Kaja, right? But no, it's not. It's actually going to be Kyrie on the Martis here. We've seen this hero put in the jungle many times. And even, I think when the signature hero popped up, that was for Ken, right? I mean, it was Ken that was playing that Martis here.
100% win rate.
100% win rate. So what you're thinking is, okay, signature hero also for Kyrie as a Fanny. It's like they both just decided, you know what? Play your signature hero, I'll play him better. And that's what we have going into game number 2 here. Trex, how are we feeling about the drafts?
I mean, it's definitely interesting. I think the Martis was the answer I was kind of looking for, wondering what else are they going to use to lock down this Fanny, and that is definitely going to help. Once again, you know, you talked about Onic getting spicy in the gold lane. This time, Falcon bringing in this Harith gold lane. Falcon definitely trying to break some bounds here against such a strong team. They're doing a wonderful job.
Well, we're breaking the bounds here as we load it into the Land of Dawn for game number 2. It's Falcon Esports against Onic Esports. Can Onic Esports take another game in this series, the best of 5?
That's the question here. I mean, if we go straight looking at the spells, the emblems, one thing that we do notice up front is that even though Naomi brought the Atlas, we all know how Fatal Links is going to be able to get popped up in level 4. But none of the members from Onic Esports actually brought the Purify except for CW. So that's something that Falcon can work with when it comes down to it. And the one thing else that I wanted to add is the fact that Kyrie is on the Martis. He's going to be immune to the CC. So I think that was the perfect addition in regards to that.
Well, already the back and forth here just for the Lift Wanderer, but shouldn't convert into anything. I mean, both teams have quite a bit of this early perk, but Kyrie already trying to assert dominance in the jungle here.
That's what he's got to do, right? This is exactly the plan for Onic. Once again, be aggressive into Falcon, especially when you're up against a Fanny. But wait a second, Naomi going to try to get the stun on Kyrie. Does work, but a big knockup coming from Sans there. Ken forced to back off along with Naomi. Falcon slowly getting pushed into a corner, only a minute and a half.
I mean, both teams, they're reliant on level 4, right? They're both teams are reliant on that level 4. They need those ultimates. They need that power spike to happen. So what we're going to expect is the importance of base damage. And Keyboy has that. Kaja hurt so much already below even level 4. And you can see even Ken starting to fall short in terms of that jungle.
I mean, the thing, too, with Onic Esports is CW is the only one with that get-out-of-jail-free card, right, against the Atlas, because Naomi's going to be looking for those Fatal Links here, and already CW is going to have his work, the work cut out for him, because he's got to avoid that. Meanwhile, avoiding Justin and Ken, all the burst damage potential here. Next turtle of the game is now up, though. Kyrie starting it up, but the rest of Falcon making their way here. Who's going to pull the trigger?
I don't know. Kyrie has made a good statement on top of this turtle. Doesn't look like Falcon's going to try to go for this. Keep an eye on Ken. No, the turtle does go to the side of Onic. This could be bad. Yellow Flash gets pulled in from that Divine Retribution, but still, nothing, no kills on the board just yet.
No kills on the board just yet, as Onic Esports, they're going to be able to get the better trade on those objectives. Maybe because Onic, they lose a lot on the Fanny, so they're starting to pick up on how exactly were they countered, and they're relaying that same message onto Falcon here, as Ken level 5, Kyrie also level 5, but obviously he is a little bit ahead because Ken's jungle has been taken away from him, basically.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, too, is when you have a Fanny across from you, Kyrie and Onic Esports knows this, right? Don't get caught alone, especially with a high and dry.
Oh, that is big. Keyboy goes down. A nice pick for Falcon. First blood on the map. Kyrie maybe wants to find something for himself. Ken trying to get out of town here. He is going to be able to get away, but wait, Kyrie may find Naomi here. The decimation comes in, and now it's a 1-for-1 trade.
Wow, Kyrie just being so aggressive. He didn't have to take that. It might have been a mistake.
This bad Samon's Force does go down. Ken taken off the map. Kyrie finds another one. Zipbax, though, does pick up CW. Can they find Kyrie here? Don't want to mess with it. They know the CC's there. They know Kyrie can be a problem. But wait a second. Petrify. Justin goes down. Onic, 3-2.
I mean, just a massive, about 1 minute there coming out from Onic Esports. And hey, even if he doesn't get an assassin, Kyrie's still going to play that way on this Martis and just be a nuisance. I mean, that's the downside, right? Falcon Esports still need to find an answer for this objectively as well, because he's running that jungle emblem here. As we take a look at the emblems, he has that advantage at least of clearing things a little bit faster. And so Ken's really got to utilize the high and dry, the Fanny pick as well, and just give the fight to Onic Esports. But given what just happened, that's tough to do, Eterna.
It's tough to do. He has a high and dry like you mentioned, but the fact is he hasn't been able to get that blue buff quick enough, right? When he has that blue buff, he's going to be able to rotate better, perhaps even pressure CW in that gold lane, but we haven't seen that being realized. But now both teams are going to start fighting for the next neutral objective.
Yeah, Ken trying to lock on to Kyrie here. Can he find him? Kyrie does get the turtle. Ken forced to run away. Kyrie wants more. Yellow Flash trying to zone for him. Kyrie doesn't go too aggressive. He's smart. Get the turtle, get the gold crab. I don't need to chase Ken down today because right now we are winning this game.
Well, that's the thing, right? Again, you don't have to do too much here if you're Kyrie for Onic Esports. You go in, grab the objectives, get out. If Keyboy finds a Divine Judgment lockdown, great. It could even be Sands, right? So still, you have a lot of tools here for Onic Esports, and that's why Falcon Esports has to work around that. But already, even just the pressure in the jungle.
This is so bad for Ken right now. I mean, Onic, they're playing it textbook right now. They're doing it exactly how they're supposed to, and the Martis pick was just so clutch, and it's working so well against Falcon. And right now, the gold has already extended to almost 2K at only 5.5 minutes.
Oh, they're suffocating Falcon. I mean, right now, Kyrie level 9 against Ken, who's still level 7. So he's 2 levels below. It must be so frustrating, but Keyboy looks for a pick, but he's still able to get out here.
Most definitely, but wait a second. Sans tries to lock him into a rough way, stops the ulti. Zipex looking for Sans, is very low. Can he find it? Sans gets away. And now with Keyboy and CW here, he's not going to be able to claim anything there. Justin coming in from the top side, but he's walking into a death trap. Needs to be careful. Yin Yang overturn does lock down, but still not enough damage. Falcon just too far behind in gold right now.
Tough, again, situation. You can see Onic Esports just putting pressure here on the bottom side, making it harder for Zipex. He does have a kill, right? He's got the mystery shop too, but they're still going to be going.
Ooh, Zamon's force does come down. Keyboy just walking through the tower, not worried about it. But Onic, they're never forcing it. They look for the play. They're looking for the mess up from Falcon to capitalize on it.
I mean, Kyrie's level 10 still.
He's
right?
level
He's got
10.
the lead here at Turna.
Yeah, it's tough, right? It's super tough right now because if we look at the mid lane matchup, like the problem is Kagura is strong, very burst and high, very burst damage. But the problem is the Kagura needs proper setup for that Yin Yang overturn to be maximized. And so far, Naomi hasn't been able to land that. But perhaps this might be the moment as they're setting up for the objective.
Oh, suppression does come on to Ken. Ken goes down. CW picking up that kill. Naomi now forced to run away. Falcon cannot contest this turtle. Yellow Flash going to keep vision for his team, but down in the bot lane, is a bit more action. Sans finds Naomi. Yellow Flash trying to respond back to Sans, but Keyboy is also here. Kyrie will be on his turtle, and that is another huge advantage for the side of Onic Esports.
2-0 trade. 2-0 trade. They're at 4,000 gold right now. And if we take a look at the items, you can see the disparity, the distinct disparity that we see. Like, even from the gold lane, right? The carry is 1,000 level up. She has her core items. She has the corrosion scythe. She has also the golden staff. And so the damage, the attack speed, the slow, it's already starting to hit. Whereas the Herod, he's only been able to get that Calamity Reaper and the Feather of Heaven, which he needs more magic damage, basically. He needs that base magic damage for the damage to finally hit. And if we take a look at the mages here, both teams have yet to secure that second item. So at this point, Kagura still has a chance here going against Onic Esports.
Yeah, I mean, even in this battle, like, look at the confidence taking the purple buff. They're going to crash down here. Might even look for a pick, but...
Oh, big flicker! Nice play from the side of Falcon, but still not enough. CW finds Naomi. Boots trying to come in, help out. Zipex needs to run away. Yellow Flash as well. Justin tries to get that umbrella on, but just unable to find anything. Every time Falcon tries to make a play, Onic responds back.
Okay, now I don't know what they should do, right? Because that was textbook what they were supposed to do, right? They were supposed to look for a big moment. Naomi gets the Fatal Links on 3 to 4 members.
Yeah.
They did that, but he instantly died, and they weren't able to get CW taken. So what?
I mean, that's the thing, right? When you have this Atlas, you can have all those moments in the world, all those Fatal Links, whether it's 3, 4, 5 combos. But if you don't have the follow-up, you don't have the damage, and that is what Justin picked this Kagura for, right? It should be there, so you can get that Yin Yang overturn off, but unfortunately for them, it's not here yet. 9 minutes in, the gold lead continuing to build here for Onic Esports, and it's just getting tougher for them in this situation because at the same time, they front-loaded a lot of this magic damage, right? They have a lot of magic damage in the department here. So if Onic Esports, the way that they do their build paths, they get a little magic resistance, maybe an Athena shield, they already kind of negate a lot of that burst, right? So still, even in fights like this first Lord of the game, Onic Esports is going to have an advantage here. But you can see already Falcon trying to get an eye. They also have to allow Ken to get the buff here so that he doesn't get blasted as the first Lord goes off.
Yeah, they are going to start on that. CW going to start chipping away at it as the rest of the team zones away Falcon. Falcon looking for an entrance. Ken standing a little bit through these bushes. Almost getting sent up. Suppression will go down. CW with the killing spree. Lord goes to Kyrie. And now Falcon members are dropping.
Wow.
It's 3 down and a Lord for the side of Onic.
Wow, a 3-for-0 trade. And even if Ken wanted to go in and try to steal it, he didn't have his retribution up. So Onic Esports right now, they've been really great at forcing timings in order for Falcon not to be able to get any advantage or even a trade 8,000 gold lead. Kyrie already with a Hunter Strike as well. So additional movement speed to already how oppressive he is. And Ken, the only thing he can do up until this point, but oh my god!
Takes a lot of damage there. Almost responds, but isn't quite able to. Keyboy comes in with a flicker. Ken goes down.
No!
Onic just, I mean, decimating them right now. Definitely picking them apart piece by piece. And you mentioned earlier, Falcon needs a big play, but I think it's a little too late. The gold difference is just too much, and even when they make the play, the damage isn't there because Falcon has more items, has more gold, and has advantage in these team fights.
I mean, Keyboy just coming in. He's like, I want one. So he gets the kill. Now the assault on the base here on the top side. It's Onic Esports pressing this into the base.
Boots will come in, but still nothing too major. Falcon is able to stop them from taking an inhibitor, but they've lost everything else on the field. This is a bad predicament. It is a 10K gold lead for Onic right now at Turna.
Yeah, any hope for that moment has kind of shifted, right? Probably abandon that and utilize what the Fanny is used for, right? If the Fanny can't get that early game lead, if she can't snowball, okay, fine. Let's go to plan B. What is plan B for Fanny? Try and get those pressure in the side lanes, right? Try to split push, try to cause Onic disarray, because right now they're already clumping in as 5, and the way that Falcon can actually go about this is try and go for those side lanes. I think that's the only thing that they can do up until this point.
I mean, even if you do that, right, still, we even just a little bit ago, we saw CW pick up an Athena shield. So if you take Fanny and you park Fanny in the side lane to push, that does apply pressure. But if they're looking for these skirmishes, these team fights, and there's none of that physical damage, it's all magic damage, it's going to fall off. You're not going to win those trades here. And we see even Falcon Esports being poked out of their own jungle. I mean, at this point, 10K gold lead for Onic Esports, sitting comfortably, taking all the buffs here from Ken. And this it's a very hard situation to be in. Even if you don't, we've seen this similarly with a Hilda, right? How much Hilda just makes it a hard time for the opposing jungler. Same situation here for this Fanny. No buffs, you have to scrape any XP, any gold you can, and then hope to be there for those fights when, I mean, Naomi has been trying to find the Fatal Link setups. He's done it, but there's no follow-up damage.
You know, Onic just has such great placement all over the map, especially as we creep into this mid to late S game. Look at San sitting down here in this bottom brush, just waiting for the ambush, and everyone else moving as a unit, but everyone knows their position. They have their spots depending on what they want to do next. Now with Lord coming up, the rest of the team is moving forward as Sans slowly catches up, but Kyrie gonna try to look for him down there. Takes him very low. Sans force use rough waves, just get away. This could be the slight advantage Falcon is looking for, but they cannot go for this Lord. It's just too much pressure from Onic.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, right? 11,000, almost 12,000 gold behind now. I think the fact that Ken was trying to pick him off he was looking for a trade, but it couldn't happen as well. Fanny trying to pressure that bottom lane, trying to get a turret out of it. But the way that, like you mentioned, the way that they're able to spread across the map and deny all that from Falcon makes it just that much more difficult for them. And you can see Kyrie he keeps building that defense. Nobody in particular can take him down because Falcon committed to having the Harith in that gold lane. They're not going to have that DPS like Onic has with the carry. They're going to have more burst, but even that can't come through because of the range disparity that they also have with Onic Esports.
This is a tough situation for Ken to be in, right? Kyrie's right here. He's looking for any movement that he can get on the map, but even like what we saw, right? He's just probably at this point trying to get those last couple items that he needs. He's also got to catch up here on XP, but meanwhile, top side, Lord's going to be marching up here. So does he go back for the defense? Because this one's going to be tough for Falcon Esports to defend against.
He's going to be forced to. Lord will take the first inhibitor. Onic closing in, looking for a possible finish here. Sans being patient along with Boots. CW and Kyrie will move to the mid side. The Lord does fall, but now Onic moving on to the middle inhibitor. They're going to pick these bones dry before they finish this. Onic now circling around, waiting for a possible mistake from Falcon. Sans, Keyboy holding the front line. Boots maybe waiting for the engage. Kyrie also helps clear the wave. Falcon forced to keep them at bay, but Onic not being too aggressive, playing disciplined, playing smart. They got what they came for, and they can wait for the next Lord because the gold lead is so much.
They're really stretching this out, right? I mean, they could have taken a gamble, they could have committed onto it, but they didn't want to. And if we take a look at the items here in the 15th minute, it's starting to go into that late game, like Trex mentioned, and we're starting to see a lot of items being built already on the board. Right now, there's already so much magic penetration. The magic damage is there for Harith in particular with the Holy Crystal and the Divine Glaive. All he needs to secure is his last item. And I honestly believe at this point, maybe look for something that's more... But wait a minute, in the mid side here, Boots.
Oh, just too tanky, though. Ken can't do the damage. The game is too far in. The Fanny is almost obsolete at this point, and it's becoming a major problem.
Yeah, back to my point here, because the problem is, we can't.
They don't want to let you talk.
They're going in.
Keyboy with the concealed play tries to lock on a yellow flash, but still, Falcon also playing disciplined here, not overextending. They know they just need to clear these waves, and they can maybe try to hold out here.
Okay, Onic, can I talk now?
Now you can.
Are you done? Okay, seems like they're done. Okay. But maybe not, but I have a few moments. But what I meant to say is that because Falcon is highly depending on the damage output coming in from Zipex, even though he has those items that is going to give him more magic damage, the problem is if we took a look at Onic Esports' item builds, they had so many Athena shields, and that's going to be a huge problem. This is the problem of having Harith as your gold laner without that physical item, the physical damage that you so need at this point.
Yeah, normal. I mean, it's always it's kind of a high risk, high reward situation, right? When you draft a mage into the gold lane, it does work for some teams, but still, when you're jungle, the main physical damage is shut down.
Speaking of shut down, Yellow Flash will be the one to get shut down, but a nice Fatal Lynx locks on. They want to make the play. Naomi finds Sans. Keyboy will go down, but the immortality pops. Zipex trying to pick it up with the dash. Kyrie still gets the Lord. Ken gonna look for Keyboy here, but Boots has locked on, and Ken goes down. They're slip and sliding. That's it. A nice pickup. Falcon loses out on that trade. It's a 2-for-2, but the Lord still goes to the side of Onic.
Oh man, that was messy, Naisu.
Boots took him for a ride. I mean, that was a journey and a half, right? I mean, what a play there. And now, still, Onic Esports in good position. They're going to be marching down the mid lane. Keyboy has just now reached 1,500 assists for his professional MLBB career. So congratulations to him. He is doing work right now in this Kaja, as we saw him do in the previous game as well. So now, this very well could be a last push-in. A couple seconds, Ken should be up, but Onic Esports going in.
It's going to be a second until CW can get to this fight, though. Some of the damage is still in the backside, but Kyrie and Boots want to try to push this in. Kyrie taking a lot of damage. Ken does get a nice poke. Yellow Flash trying to hold down the backside, but Keyboy finds the retribution and pulls in Justin. This could be big. Wait a second. Boots does find Yellow Flash. That's 3 down for Falcon. They keep on going. Zipex will be next. Ken goes down, and the base will fall. Onic Esports takes game 2.
Onic Esports takes game number 2, and they're going to be leading the series. One more point until they're going to be able to move on in the upper brackets. And now Falcon Esports are put in a very tough position.
Like you guys said, at match point here for the first match of knockouts. Onic Esports not kidding around. They've got the crowd as well. And that crowd buff is obviously showing across the board. I mean, any player, any position you looked at for Onic Esports, they got their cake, right? They wanted it. Even Keyboy hitting that milestone for his professional career here and just having an amazing game himself. I mean, if you're Falcon Esports, you might be thinking too, hey, maybe we don't give the Kaja away anymore, or maybe we take it ourselves, but there you go. The winning moment here for Onic Esports. Ability jungles like an assassin, and we're getting loaded up here in the draft here for this game number 3. And you can already see across the board, right? It's going to be Onic Esports here on the blue side, Falcon Esports on the red. Notice, right? Falcon Esports, they're tired of Keyboy and the Kaja. They're going to go ahead and ban that out, and Ken's decided, you know what? I'm not going to play this Fanny right now. So first pick coming out, Trex, it's looking like the Wan-Wan.
Onic did not waste a second with that, and it seems like they're always prepared for this. They lock in the Wan-Wan. Yes, Falcon does get the glue in return. Now, the glue did do good last game in the hands of Onic, but can Falcon make it work as well here? I like the Kaja ban. I like them kind of targeting here. But once again, I'm really starting to question because Onic, they have so much depth to them. And it's just, I don't know if the target bans are going to be enough to take them out in game 3.
because both that statement can also be applied for both of these teams, right? So Onic Esports, they also need a way to figure out how they're going to protect this 1-1 in the gold lane, because 1-1's great and all, but throughout the entirety of the last meta up until now, 1-1's been countered a lot, and she's also been nerfed, right? So
Yeah.
Falcon still has a possibility to pick up someone like the Irithel to go against her in lane. There's also a Diggy if they want to go that route. But with the Farsa being picked up, it also eliminates the range gap that 1-1 so severely lacks. And we see this happening a lot. And now Onic Esports, they picked up the Grok as well as the Hayabusa once again.
Oh, solid choices here for Onic Esports. The Grok, we've seen him kind of played in different ways, whether as a side lane or as a roamer here. And at the same time, I mean, for Falcon Esports, I'm wondering too, right? Do they lock in what you were saying earlier, Eterna? Do they lock in a traditional marksman this time for the gold lane to allow ZipX to actually have that physical damage in this department? Because you've already got quite a bit of burst, right? You've got that Farsa locked in here. You can work around that and the glue. So if you want to go with a traditional matchup, maybe 1-1 Beatrix is open. You could still go with that. Okay, hold on. It's going to be Natalia that we were talking about earlier from Naomi. This is a big pickup here, and we first saw this actually do work for them back in MSC, and it's very deadly. And even in the group stages, I believe it was just picked once. And this is a big pickup for Falcon Esports to start on the right foot for game number 3 here, Trax.
Not only that, but kind of a comfort pick too. I know that they like this pick, and with that could be the answer to this 1-1. It could possibly be the answer to finally being able to invade a little bit early and putting pressure on to Kyrie, because that's something that we wanted them to do from the very beginning. It was in some of their key points, some of their win conditions here, and they haven't been able to succeed with it, though Boots does seem to have a bit of a quote here, Turner.
Yeah, we want to meet Echo in the playoffs because we're partners in scrims and we want to try them in the tournament. And that actually might happen, right? If they're able to get this point against Falcon, if Echo wins their next matchup, they're going to meet up. So they both have a lot in store for them in the next few matches. But right now, the Ling is going to be taken away from Ken.
Yeah.
And this is interesting. I was wondering if they wanted to ban out the Irithel, to be honest, here in the second phase.
I think at this point, if you're on Onic Esports, you just let those options open, right? Now, you could focus on a marksman here, but going with the way that the previous game went, where we saw Falcon Esports try to play the Harith in the gold lane, honestly, you're happy to work around it. You do have that 1-1. You should be fine. We know they can play around that. So on the flip side, Falcon Esports still focusing on those roamer options, right? They took out the Katita. The Katita, they don't want to deal with the burst. Again, the Kaja was taken out, and now you have Rafaela taken out as well, Trex.
Yeah, so my guess is since they're focusing on this roamer, they're really expecting that Grok to go into the EXP lane possibly, right? They're expecting it to maybe be something to go up against Yellow Flash here, but once again, Onic keeps themselves flexible here. They can keep that in the mid as their roamer, or they can flex it over. A lot of options as well. One problem that the Farza, we mentioned earlier, a lot of damage, yes, a lot of high ground, but they immediately pick up this Grok and the Hayabusa, two heroes that can close that distance quickly, right? Can get the knockups, stop the feathered airstrike, things of that nature. Now, first pick coming into the second phase, there is that Irithel Eterna.
Yeah, expected. It's the safest thing that they can go about. And the one thing that I wanted to mention about the Rafaela ban is this Rafaela is known to be quote-unquote counter towards the Natalia because her first ability can open up vision to where the Natalia is even though she's in that hidden ability, right? So with the Irithel being picked up, already a winning lane, depending, of course, back again onto the execution. But this is what I wanted to mention. The Matilda and the Lily are going to be picked up, and that is immense wave clear in that mid side, right? So much wave clear from even just the Lily herself. You have the addition of the Matilda as well, and they have really good mobility to top it all off.
This is tough because this is very reminiscent of game number 1's draft in a way that you have a lot of tools here for Onic Esports to bait out the ultimates or even just abilities, battle spells, whatever, from Falcon Esports. And not to mention the insane amount of mobility you have to get away or initiate. So this is going to be troublesome for Falcon Esports, but they're going to lock it in here with this Martiz pick. So it's kind of, again, it's a trade. Now this should, it's going to be Ken taking Martiz in the jungle here looking to focus on those objectives, work around all that CC thrown at him too. Trex, how you feeling about the draft?
I mean, I feel like Falcon finally getting some comfort picks, right? We saw the Martis, we saw how well Ken did on that in the head-to-head. We know they like the Natalia.
Yeah.
So it's just, now that it's match point, now that it's game 3, we have to throw some things to a side, put in a good composition, but also just get fun with it. Do the heroes that we want to do, that we know we play well with, and hopefully they can take us to a game 4 with it.
Well, we're going to find out here as we get a last look at both drafts. You can already hear the crowd getting charged up with the drums. Onic Esports charging up as well as we jump into a match point here. Onic Esports versus Falcon. Can Falcon Esports prolong the series here? They've got their work cut out for them, but let's see how they do.
Will Onic be able to redeem themselves from their last meetup with their X Factor? Or will the Falcons still remain the victors of the sky? The answer is going to be known here right now. As like we mentioned before, right? The problem is Onic Esports, they have a really, really good early game, but because Naomi is on the Natalia, they are going to be able to pressure in terms of that damage.
I mean, already, right? Look at this. Look how aggressive Kyrie is on the Hayabusa, right? He's bobbing and weaving everywhere. Justin,
oh, the flicker comes in. Kyrie goes down. First blood for the first game in 3. Falcon picking that up.
Okay, big pickup, right? I was going to go into the point that with this lineup from Falcon Esports specifically, if you can put a chokehold here on Kyrie, not allow him to snowball on this Hayabusa, that's the best case scenario for you in step 1.
Oh.
Blue buff still goes to Kyrie.
Yeah, he's still able to get that purple buff. So that's a small win for Onic Esports right now with the amount of pressure that's already been given onto them. But look at this. Naomi still opening up so much vision for his team. And Falcon going to be leading here in this early game.
This is tough because if you're Naomi, right, and you're trying to work around pretty much the poke that Onic Esports has, you do have execute available to you, right? But if you can find picks early on, especially with a high and dry, this should snowball Falcon Esports. Now, they already got a 1K gold lead. It's still too early in the game, though. But this lead is something that they can utilize and work around with really well, especially in just a couple seconds. First turtle's going to come up here. They should be in a good position. I mean, even for Ken, as he goes and gets his buffs, he just got his purple. You're going to see him transition now. So as long as no one goes down, Kyrie doesn't have that level 4 yet. It's safer if he just farms up, gives up that first turtle of the game, and works from there. So Falcon, obviously, in a good position so far early game.
Right now, the lanes are important, right? I mean, we mentioned that mid side. Obviously, in that gold lane, the Irithel is going to have a little bit of an edge, especially until CW gets to level 4, which now already is. But now, Falcon going to go pressure Sans here.
Most definitely, Feathered Airstrike does come back. Sans, Black Shoes back into it, but this should be the first turtle for the side of Falcon. It is Ken securing it, and as you said, I mean, Kyrie you don't have to force it. Yes, they're a little bit behind, but I think that maybe they feel confident enough to kind of surrender that over. But this time, Falcon is starting to get that snowball factor. We have seen how well Martis did in the past game when you get a kill early on, and this is what Falcon is going to keep on doing, pressuring in.
I think this is, again, best case scenario here. The question earlier was, hold on, Naomi.
Very, very low. Kyrie wants to find it, but Justin comes in the nick of time.
So back to it, right? The question was, can Falcon Esports go for a reverse sweep? They're off to the right step, at least. Now in the bottom lane, putting pressure still here. Keyboy, though, to help CW, but Ken might be looking for a play.
Comes from the backside, locks on, but in comes Circling Eagle. Keyboy does get onto Ken. Ken has enough CC, though, to stop it. Keyboy forced to flicker away. Justin and Zipex repositioning. Falcon not forcing it, but Kyrie trying to find a little bit of play in the mid lane. Cannot do it onto Naomi there. Falcon seems to be controlling the map a bit now.
Naomi's having so much fun right now, right? He's been able to do so much for his team. And look at this, once again going in.
Finally going to find it, possibly. Uses the execute. Kyrie goes down. That is 0-2 for Kyrie. A rough start for Onic.
Well, I mean, again, going back to it, the action's not done yet, correct?
Justin does use that Feathered Airstrike. Ken takes the tower. Keyboy forced to flicker away, and Falcon just continues to pressure in.
Wow, 2,800 gold lead here for Falcon here in the 4th minute. And that's a huge amount of gold taken by them. And very expected right now, even the matchup in the EXP lane that Grok should have won. per se. I mean, people like to say like Glue has been really overpowered, but Grok is able to just balance things out and even perhaps win that matchup. Even then, Yellow Flash is still dominating in that lane. And that was one of the keys to victory for Onic Esports. But in the mid side...
Oh, a lot of damage on Sans there. Sans does use the black shoes to save himself. Kyrie trying to look for something, but the damage just isn't quite there yet. Does find Justin, actually. Wow. So a nice play. Even at 1, 2, and 0, still able to get those kills. Keyboy now trying to force the engage. Onyx just want their purple buff, but Falcon doesn't want to give it over just yet. Boots holding down the front side as Yellow Flash also re-engages, gets the immobilized onto Keyboy. Yellow Flash moving in, trying to get this all onto someone, trying to search. Falcon pushes the blue buff away. Ken picks it up, but Kyrie finds Zipex. In comes the crossbow of Tang, but not enough damage on a Yellow Flash just yet. Keyboy looking low, goes down. Ken finds it. Yellow Flash now trying to lock onto Boots here. Boots trying to get away, but just can't. The Decimation comes in, and double kill happens for Ken. That is a 2-for-1 trade over the side of Falcon.
2-for-1 trade, but remember, Kyrie didn't have his retribution up, so perhaps Kyrie is going to be able to steal this buff, this turtle away from Ken because he was forced to use it earlier. But look at this, already going in once again.
Oh, Naomi's going to get away from that somehow, some way. And with that, this turtle should go to the side of Ken. It does. Kyrie forced to go back to base here.
This is spicy, right? I mean, Falcon Esports not letting up here, having a nice, comfortable lead. And this time, it's crazy. They're putting the focus on Kyrie, making it hard for him, but still, he's managed to pick up 2 kills, right? But objectively, gold-wise and economy, Ken's got control. He's even working on that orange buff now. Going to be able to grab that and still move around here. So Falcon Esports not letting up. Great position for this game here. And even, I mean, looking into these later team fights, Onic Esports really has to find their moments correctly, right? And that is going to be either on Boots here, or even if they can, bait out some ultimates using Sans Lilia with those black shoes and get out of there with Keyboy, with that guiding wind. If they can, that could set themselves up, even despite that gold lead that Falcon Esports has.
This is the problem, right? Because when we're looking at the emblems, the Grok is actually Weapon Master, so he's definitely building for damage. And if he is building for damage, Onic Esports, they don't necessarily have someone to be able to soak in that initial damage that Falcon already has. I mean, look at this. Nobody is able to stop that aggression coming in from Falcon.
What I will say, though, is Onic is still trying to make some of these fights happen, and as we're talking about it, that airstrike comes down. CW goes down as well. Ken with the decimation on to Keyboy. That's a killing spree, ladies and gentlemen. Ken is on a roll. 3-0-1.
Solid choice, right? Falcon Esports, they know that they have this lead, right? They can punish Onic Esports where they want. And it's good that you pointed it out, you know, it's a Weapon Master here, emblem on Boots. Naomi, though, just going to say hi to Kyrie and goes back. But still, map control in favor for Falcon Esports. Now, the thing is Weapon Mastery Grok, right? We've seen both side lane Groks, either high and dry Weapon Mastery. What works better? That's up to the team here. But now the onslaught in the mid lane, it might be Boots looking for a setup.
CW is going to be able to get that crossbow of Tang. Down goes Ken. Tries to lock on to Zipex. Does not get the finish, though, but still, it's a 1-for-0 trade. And even though Onic is back 3K gold, they're still taking these fights. They still are confident in their composition and their team skirmishes.
They need to be careful, right? Because as long as Zipex is still up and about, he already has Berserker Fury for all they care, right? So the penetration is there. You can feel the critical damage starting to hit as well. And that was perfectly timed before they went in for that team fight in that top side where CW got taken down. And if they keep this up, Falcon gonna have a better chance at snowballing into that late game, despite Boots being Weapon Master. And he also scales, but him compared to Zipex in the grand scheme of things, definitely Zipex is gonna win it out.
I mean, all Boots has to do is get one Holy Mary wild charge, right? If he can find that, and especially if he finds Zipex, that's going to be crucial here because that's the target, right? Naomi, too, is something that they have to worry about, but now...
Oh, Ken taking a lot of damage. Crossbow Tank does finish it off. Justin trying to find something here, uses that. Oh my God! Justin and Zipex annihilated with a beautiful wild charge. Boots will pay the price, but what a trade. This is going to give them a bit of advantage over this Lord. Falcon forced to readjust here.
Can I just say, that's what he had to do. He did it.
Most definitely, but now Yellow Flash maybe trying to salvage something, but he's all alone against the world right now. Kyrie, the Sky King, gonna be able to find this Lord as Falcon needs to think about it, but it's still not over yet, Eterna.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's crazy, right? Because usually when we're casting, it's the caster curse, but this is the exact opposite. Nice was like, this is what he needs. They get it, and the trade was so worth it, right? 1 for 2. Zipex being one of them, that's the only thing that Boots needs to do right now. And on top of that, the gold lead that Falcon had in that early game is now starting to go back and forth. And Onic Esports, they're coming back into the game. As Kyrie has also picked up that penetration item. See, you can see here, the Malefic Roar already taken Hunter Strike for additional movement speed. So he has what he needs in his kit. But once again, he needs to be careful because if we look at Iritel, she also is building up to that third item. Berserker Fury already, Wind Talker as well, attack speed, crit, so scary. You need to be able to take him out if Onic Esports wants to stay relevant in this game.
You know what's going to be scary is when we see Boots get that BOD, right? He's almost to that blade of despair. As I said it, I'm on fire here. He picks it up, and also, you've also got that Wind of Nature available to you. So you can see just how confident Onic Esports here in looking for picks, looking for team fights. Now it's them that want to force these fights. Again, just minutes ago, Falcon Esports had what? A 3K, 4K gold lead at some point. Onic Esports completely flipping it around, and now they're in the driver's seat of this game.
And this is bad. Zipex will go down. Kyrie finds it. Gonna be able to move out. Naomi looking for Sans here. Can they finally get a kill? Naomi just not able to finish the job, and that has been the story so far. Naomi sitting at 1-0-4, having a bit of trouble, but the Lord is coming up to the top side right now. CW, Boots, and Keyboy want to try to hold down the front line as Yellow Flash and Ken want to defend. Lord does get stopped by the wall. They're gonna try to stall here. A very nice play. Lord will connect onto this inhibitor soon. Justin used the feathered airstrike. CW can't engage just yet. They should be able to lock onto this Lord here. CW moving on. Moving back. They took something, but not an inhibitor just yet. Naomi on the backside, gonna get found. Kyrie picks it up.
Wow.
Now, onto the mid. They decide to possibly push here, but I think they're gonna readjust, eat up the jungle, and wait for Falcon to come out.
Man, just like that, I mean, again, it's a tough situation for Falcon Esports to be in here. Onic Esports still putting the pressure in the mid side. They might be looking to end the game here, but still, the defense from Falcon.
Hold on, here comes Kyrie. Sans also holding the line. CW does not want to let up. They want to move on to these towers more and more. They want to keep the pressure here. Onic moving back onto this orange buff, maybe wanting to wait because Lord comes up in 20 seconds, and Falcon may not be able to contest for it, but I feel like at this point, they have to. This could be do or die for Falcon. It's match point and Lord up. Will they try to steal it?
You're right.
Tough to be in. I mean, Onic Esports, nice comfortable gold lead. Everything that just happened there in the past couple minutes, quite back and forth here. Can Falcon Esports actually still contest this Lord?
That's the question. They need to be able to protect the Zipex, right? That's all you need. The damage is there already. She has her core items, but you need to be able to protect her. I mean, at this point, Zipex really needs that Wind of Nature to try and alleviate the pressure that Kyrie can possibly have. But there you go.
Kyrie moves on to Zipex here. Boots with the wild charge. Down Zipex goes. Justin forced to readjust, but Sans finds him anyways. Now Naomi's all alone. Can't connect on to Sans. Forced to try to dash. CW's not going to let that go.
No.
Yellow Flash may just be next. Caught in the middle of them all. Can't use the ult. Crossbow Tang goes down, and so does Yellow Flash. Ken all alone. Now they're going to move on to this tower. One wave coming down the mid. This is match point. Falcon on the ropes. Will Onic finish this here? Ken's going to try to clear these waves. Can he do it? Gonna try to make it, but I don't think they can. Ken goes down, and Onic takes the game. Some convictions are so strong, the world must break to hold them. And today, Falcon is part of that breaking. Falcon will move down to the lower bracket, and Onic Esports, GG, well played. You will move forward.
Today, Falcon's wings have been clipped by the King of the Skies themselves. A 3-0, so clean, so wonderful to see. As you're right, Falcon, they're going to drop to the lower bracket. But remember, it's not going to be an easy run for Onic Esports as well, because they are going to be either going against Echo or Todak, if I'm not mistaken. Team Hack, the Malaysian representative. So their journey is not over, but congratulations to Onic Esports from Indonesia.
Man, oh man, they had, I mean, the crowd, the buff was there. And who would have thought a sweep, right? I mean, it was a tough matchup for Falcon Esports, but still, even when they had this lead at one point in the game, it's like Onic Esports just knew what to do, right? They had the answer for all of that, and it showed. And there we go. Let's welcome Sandiaga Uno, the Ministry of Tourism of Indonesia, here to support the players and the teams and M4 in general. Welcome to M4.